This Boston Bruins squad just continues to prove night in and night out that they truly are a special bunch. The latest example was a win over the Tampa Bay Lightning on the road, in which Patrice Bergeron recorded his 1,000th point and was mobbed by his whole team afterwards. Let's talk about last night's game on today's episode of Locked On Boston Bruins.
You're Locked On Bruins, your daily podcast on the Boston Bruins. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, what's up, Bruins fans, and welcome back to the Locked On Boston Bruins podcast. I'm your host, Ian McLaren, and this is a daily show where we discuss all things Spoked B. I want to thank you so much for making Locked On Bruins part of your day, free and available wherever you get podcasts, including YouTube, so please do subscribe on your favorite podcast app and to the video part of the show so that you get extra bonus content over there. You can find the podcast at Locked NHL Bruins on Twitter, Instagram, and you can find me, my dad jokes, hockey tweets at Ian C. McLaren. Now, in my lifetime watching the Bruins, there's been a few special players that I've been able to witness. Growing up as a kid, it was Cam Neely, Ray Bourque. Now, Patrice Bergeron, among the absolute greats, not only in black and gold, but across the NHL. And we are so blessed to have been able to witness his 1,000th career point last night as he set up a Brad Marchand goal, because of course that's how it happened, to achieve this milestone. He was swarmed on the ice by his teammates, and it's just another beautiful moment in what is obviously a surefire Hall of Fame career. Nick Foligno said that while they were mobbing Bergeron, the captain was just saying, "I love you guys. You guys are the best." And they were like, "Man, just take this moment." But that's just who he is. He gives credit to his teammates, his coaching staff. He's a true role model of what it means to be selfless, both on and off the ice. Foligno said, as a role model, sometimes you can be disappointed by certain people, but Bergeron's a guy that lives up to it every day. And that's a big character trait of his. He just doesn't disappoint. It's just who he is. It speaks volumes about his parents, the way he was raised, the values he stood for his whole life, and it's a big reason why he's going to be a Hall of Famer one day. Now, the milestone assist came on Boston's fourth of 5 consecutive goals. Let's be honest, the first period last night was not very encouraging. I think at one point they were being outshot 9-0, then 12-3. And it seemed as though, maybe it wasn't going to be their night. Maybe they were going to experience, one of the inevitable bumps on the road that come up, especially when you started 16-2. But the Bruins scored 5 consecutive goals after going down 1-0, securing a 5-3 win over the reigning Eastern Conference champion Lightning. It's their 7th win in a row, and they're now 17-2 overall. Bergeron said being mobbed by his teammates was incredibly special. To have all the guys jump on the ice and share that with them, definitely something he'll remember for a long time. Brad Marchand, he's been by Bergeron's side for over a decade now, almost 12 years. He jump-started the celebration. That was the moment that did it for me. Marchand scored, briefly raised his arm in celebration, and then pointed directly at Bergeron and rushed to his side, quickly putting it together that the 1,000th point was officially on the table. Marchand said he started counting the touches in between the goal, and once it went in, he was like, So I passed it to him. Bergeron passed it to me. I shot it. It's in. That's it. That's the 1,000th point. It's something they've talked about the last number of days, even throughout the year, because they knew it was coming. It's an incredible milestone. Just adds to everything he's accomplished. And he became the fourth player in Bruins history to hit the 1,000 point plateau with the club, joining Ray Bourque, Johnny Busick, and Phil Esposito. He's only 12 points back of Esposito now, so he could eclipse him here in the next month or so. He's also the 8th active NHLer to accomplish the feat, joining Sidney Crosby, Alex Ovechkin, Patrick Kane, Evgeny Malkin, Anze Kopitar, Eric Stahl, and Nicholas Backstrom. All those guys likely to be in the Hall of Fame as well. He reiterated after the game, it's a special game that gives you a lot, and obviously you go through ups and downs, but all you remember really is those memories, the friendships, and the guys you go to battle with. It's a special moment. This is a special team, and he said it means even more to him when it's a guy who's been on his side for such a long time and has had such a big impact on the team and also his career. Those 1,000-point players that are active, they put together a video, or the Bruins did, on Bergeron's behalf with them congratulating him. That was a pretty cool moment. And, while it would have been nice to have it happen in Boston, there was quite a few Bruins fans in the building last night. There was a nice chant of Bergie when that accomplishment was hit. And he said that meant a lot as well. The fans are a big part of the game. When you're on the road, it's great to play, see the atmosphere, some animosity, always a lot of black and gold in the stands. And, John Cooper on the other side said he didn't want to see it happen tonight. And still, he was glad he was able to witness it live. He's coached against Bergeron for a lot of years, had a lot of battles, playoff series. He's a hell of a kid, Cooper said, and that's high praise coming from one of the best coaches in the NHL. Jim Montgomery said he knows how special a person he is, how loved he is. The players love him. Hopefully Montgomery joked, hopefully he can get to 1,200, 1,300. He's so dedicated, playing the right way and having success. He always thinks team first, and it's amazing, especially for a guy who plays so hard defensively. He's got the most Selke trophies in NHL history. And, just a special moment for a special player and a special team. And hopefully this is just one of several memorable moments for the Bruins this season. They had a nice team picture afterwards in the locker room. Made me think ahead to team picture at the end of the season. Getting way ahead of ourselves, though. 19 games, 17 wins, and it was all sparked by David Krejci's slapper goal past Andrei Vasilevsky that tied the game in the midst of a lackluster first period. Foligno scored another goal. Charlie Coyle scored. Brad Marchand with that goal, of course, for the win. And then Tampa did score a couple goals in the third period to make it a bit more interesting. But Boston emerging with the win. Bergeron with his 1,000th point. And they'll get ready now for tomorrow night's game against the Florida Panthers. We're going to take a look at the Atlantic Division Power Rankings here in a moment. But first, this episode is brought to you by BetOnline, your number one source for sports betting info, stats, news, and analysis. If you put money down on Argentina beating Saudi Arabia this morning, I feel for you. You can get all the latest odds and trends for every professional and amateur league out there, from football to basketball, hockey, the World Cup, esports. They've got it all at betonline.net. If you love sports podcasts, you can find them there as well. They're the fastest and easiest way to get your betting fix. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more at BetOnline, where the game starts. Thank you so much again for making Locked On Bruins part of your day. Next, check out the Locked On Sports Today podcast. From the games that matter to the biggest stories in sports, go beyond the scoreboard and behind the scenes with local experts and insights only Locked On can provide. Locked On Sports Today, available on this app, YouTube, and wherever you get podcasts. All right, so we're getting into the second quarter of the season here, almost. The Bruins have played 19 games. Other teams have already hit 20. So I think maybe next week we're going to pivot over to the Eastern Conference power rankings to include some teams from the Metropolitan Division. Although right now it's an even split, 4 teams, 1 team from the Atlantic, 1 team from the Metro, currently in a playoff spot. For the time being, let's stick to the Atlantic Division power rankings. Spoiler alert, the Bruins remain the number 1 team. Down in 8th place remain the Ottawa Senators. They're 6-11-1 through 18 games. Very disappointing start for the team from Canada's capital. .361 point percentage, a -7 goal differential. Just unable to get it together so far this season. Their underlying numbers aren't terrible, actually. Their shot attempt differential at 5-on-5 ranks 10th in the NHL, just behind our Boston Bruins. Scoring chance differential at 5-on-5, they are 9th in the NHL. At the moment, they are just struggling to put it all together. We thought the Senators would be a bit better. They still have some defensive deficiencies. There was talk over the weekend of a Nikita Zaitsev for Tyler Myers trade with the Vancouver Canucks. Not sure if that would really fix anything, but they really do need some help on the blue line. For all the scoring they added in the offseason, that's still something that is missing. The Buffalo Sabres are the only other team in the Atlantic under 500 at the moment. They've lost 8 games in a row, 2-8 over their last 10 altogether, 7-11 record, .389 point percentage. Always seems to happen with this team. They'll start off decent, then they'll just completely fall off. They do have one of the best defensemen in the NHL in Rasmus Dahlin. Owen Power is turning into a star player as well. And their underlying numbers are pretty decent as well. They have a 53.19 shot attempt differential at 5-on-5. Scoring chance differential, they're up there as well. They rank just behind the Senators in 10th in the NHL. Unfortunately, they've just hit a wall here. And while they may be able to improve a bit, they did lose Eric Comrie to an injury that was suffered in the Bruins game. So it's going to be tough for them to overcome this early losing streak. Now, there's a slim difference between the 5th and 6th place teams. The Montreal Canadiens have a little edge over the Florida Panthers in terms of point percentage, 528 to 526. I'm going to give the edge to the Florida Panthers as Montreal has a -6 goal differential, and Florida's underlying numbers are as good as any team in the NHL. In fact, they rank 3rd in terms of scoring chance differential at 5-on-5, and in terms of shot attempt differential, they rank 3rd as well. Now, I look at 5-on-5 because that's where the majority of hockey games are played. The Florida Panthers struggling to score a little bit here. They're integrating some new pieces into the lineup. Matthew Tkachuk. They're missing Anthony Duclair, who was very effective scorer last season. But they're on the right track in terms of how they're playing under new head coach Paul Maurice. And I'd be surprised if they don't jump into the top 4 here very soon. They're only 2 points back of our 4th place team. Montreal, putting them in 6th because of their -6 goal differential. Their underlying numbers not as encouraging as Florida's, so I'm giving Florida the edge there. In 4th place, I'm putting the Detroit Red Wings, although they don't really seem like a team that's going to be able to hang there. In fact, they are near the bottom of the league in terms of shot attempt differential at 5-on-5, as well as scoring chances. They're a bit better. They rank where are they here on this list of scoring chances? They rank they rank near the bottom as well in terms of scoring chances. So the Detroit Red Wings, they're dining out right now on some pretty good goaltending from Ville Husso, and I don't expect that they are going to be able to remain near the top 4 or in a playoff spot for the balance of the regular season. They do have a better point percentage right now than Tampa after Boston beat Tampa last night. They have a +1 goal differential. But I'm not confident in their staying power, unfortunately. Or it doesn't matter. In 3rd place, I'm putting the Tampa Bay Lightning. They're 11-7-1 after losing to Boston last night. A +3 goal differential. We saw early on how good this team still is. They were very dominant in the early going. A bit of leakiness on the part of Andrei Vasilevsky, that ripper of a goal by David Krejci, not one that you see very often anymore in the NHL. I think Fluto Shinzawa the other day wrote a piece in The Athletic about how the slap shot is kind of dying. But that goal was unreal and probably shouldn't have squeaked by him, but it did. And it shows you kind of why Tampa's struggling. He's not been his regular self lately. The Toronto Maple Leafs, I'm putting in 2nd. They're 10-5-5 through 20 games. If you're counting, that's 10 wins, 10 losses, as overtime losses count as losses, even though you earn a point. They're +5 in terms of goal differential. They're a decent possession team. They rank 8th when it comes to shot attempt differential. They rank, let's see here. They're in the top 10 in terms of scoring chance differential as well. And they should be pretty good, as they have some of the best offensive players in the game in Mitch Marner, Austin Matthews, even William Nylander, John Tavares. They've got some injuries on the blue line in net. Matt Murray, Eric Kallgren carrying the load right now with Ilya Samsonov out. They should be a bit better, but right now the Boston Bruins are certainly the class of the division as well as the league. We're going to talk about how good the Bruins have been here in a moment and why they're number 1 in the Atlantic Division Power Rankings. But first, this episode is brought to you by SimpliSafe. Now, SimpliSafe is the best home security on the market. Over the holidays, property crimes like burglaries and package thefts spike nationally. Porch pirates out there in full force these days. That's why our friends at SimpliSafe Home Security are offering 50% off their award-winning security system so that more families can feel safe and secure this holiday season. Order your SimpliSafe system for half off today and enjoy advanced security and greater peace of mind this holiday season. They were named the best home security system of 2022 by U.S. News and World Report. and their 24/7 professional monitoring services cost less than $1 a day, less than half the price of ADT's traditional professional installed system. Save on the big security system. We recommend 50% off any new SimpliSafe system at simplisafe.com/lockedonnhl. It's their biggest discount of the year, so don't wait. That's simplisafe.com/lockedonnhl. There's no safe like SimpliSafe. All right, so the number one team in the Atlantic Division, without question, are Boston Bruins. They have a 9-point lead on the Toronto Maple Leafs for in the race for top spot with a game in hand. They have an .895 point percentage, a plus 40 goal differential. The Maple Leafs are second in that category in the division. They're at plus 5. The Bruins remain the NHL's top scoring team. They are averaging 4.16 goals per game. That's higher than second place Dallas at 3.84. They're also allowing the fewest goals per game at 2.11. The next fewest is 2.32, and that's the New Jersey Devils, who have won 13 games in a row. Their power play is ranked third at 30%. Their penalty kill is ranked 7 at 88.6%. If there's one cause for concern, it's that they're not, a top 5 team when it comes to their underlying numbers. They rank 9th when it comes to shot attempt differential at 5-on-5. Scoring chance differential, they rank 4th, so that's a bit better. That means they're generating some high quality chances. Expected goals for at 5-on-5, they rank 7th. So, they're not terrible underlying numbers. They rank in the top 10 at least. Their PDO is still pretty high at 103.8. They're getting almost 10% shooting percentage, 5-on-5, 93.95 save percentage, which is third in the NHL. So, if Linus Ullmark, Jeremy Swayman begin to slow down a little bit, if the 5-on-5 scoring begins to dip a little bit, we could see some losses here. But even last night, you see them come out with a slow first period, and then they just seem to be able to turn it on. They get that Krejci goal, then Foligno, Coyle score, all of a sudden it's 3-1, and they don't look back. So, it's quite possible that they could face a setback tomorrow in Florida, but it's just as possible that they'll just keep winning, because that's just how things are going for our Boston Bruins right now. Tomorrow on the podcast, I'm going to preview the game against the Panthers, open up the mailbag, so please do send in some questions to @LockedNHLBruins on Twitter and Instagram, or @ENC McLaren on both platforms as well. Thank you once again for joining today's podcast. Congrats again to Patrice Bergeron for the 1,000th point. And it's just an unreal time to be a Bruins fan here as we witness the best start in franchise history, one of the best starts in NHL history, and hopefully they can finish as strongly as they are starting. Happy Tuesday, friends. Please do take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and we'll talk to you again here tomorrow on Locked On Bruins, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your favorite team every single day.